James Monroe, a seasoned diplomat for Earth, had seen many strange and wonderful things in his career, but nothing compared to his recent assignment on the alien planet of Valtoria. The planet, ruled by the enigmatic and beautiful Queen Ariala, was a place of both technological marvels and deep-rooted traditions. James had been sent to Valtoria to negotiate a trade agreement, but his professional duties soon took an unexpected turn. During a grand reception at the palace, his eyes met those of Queen Ariala. Her luminous violet eyes seemed to see straight into his soul, and he felt an inexplicable connection. As the night wore on, James found himself alone in the palace gardens, trying to process the emotions stirred by his encounter with the Queen. The gardens were a stunning display of bioluminescent flora, casting a soft glow in the evening air. To his surprise, Ariala appeared, her presence as ethereal as the moonlight that bathed the garden. "James," she said softly, her voice like a gentle breeze. "We need to talk." James turned to face her, his heart pounding. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing slightly. "Is everything all right?" Ariala smiled, a mix of sadness and determination in her eyes. "Please call me Ariala. There are no formalities needed here." They walked together through the garden, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. Finally, Ariala stopped and turned to James, her expression serious. "I have sensed a connection between us since we first met," she admitted, her eyes searching his. "But this is forbidden. My people would never accept a relationship between us." James was taken aback, but couldn't deny the attraction he felt. "Ariala, I feel the same way. But what can we do? Your position, your people." Ariala took his hand, her touch sending a thrill through him. "We must be careful, but I cannot deny my heart. I want to be with you, James." Their forbidden love blossomed in secret, with clandestine meetings and whispered conversations. Despite the danger, they couldn't stay away from each other, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. As the negotiations between Earth and Valtoria progressed, James and Ariala's relationship became increasingly difficult to conceal. The Valtorian court was rife with intrigue and suspicion, and rumors began to circulate. One evening, while James was meeting with Ariala in her private chambers, a trusted advisor, General Kaylor, entered unexpectedly. His eyes narrowed as he took in the scene, his suspicion evident. "Your Majesty, we need to discuss the security arrangements for the upcoming summit," Kaylor said, his tone formal but his gaze lingering on James. Ariala nodded, maintaining her composure. "Of course, General. James and I were just finishing our discussion. I will join you shortly." As Kaylor left, James turned to Ariala, his worry plain. "We need to be more careful. If anyone finds out—" Ariala placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "I know, but we must trust that our love will find a way." Their meetings became more secretive. Often under the cover of night or in hidden corners of the palace, they shared dreams and fears, their connection deepening with each stolen moment. One night, as they sat together in a secluded alcove, Ariala confided her greatest fear. "James, I worry about what will happen if we are discovered. My people are proud and traditional. They may see our love as a betrayal." James took her hand, his gaze unwavering. "We will face whatever comes together, Ariala. I promise you that." Their love gave them strength, but the constant secrecy took its toll. The strain of hiding their relationship weighed heavily on both of them, and the fear of discovery loomed ever larger. Despite the challenges, their bond only grew stronger. They found solace in each other, drawing strength from their shared determination to be together. As the summit approached, they knew that the risks were greater than ever, but they were resolved to face them head-on. The love between James and Ariala was a beacon of hope in a world filled with uncertainty and danger. Together, they believed they could overcome any obstacle as long as they had each other. As the negotiations between Earth and Valtoria progressed, the tension surrounding James and Ariala's secret relationship grew palpable. The Valtorian court was rife with intrigue, and rumors about the Queen's strange behavior began to circulate. One evening, as James was meeting with Ariala in her private chambers, a trusted advisor, General Kaylor, entered unexpectedly. His eyes narrowed as he took in the scene, his suspicion evident. Your Majesty, we need to discuss the security arrangements for the upcoming summit, Kaler said, his tone formal but his gaze lingering on James. Ariala nodded, maintaining her composure. Of course, General. James and I were just finishing our discussion. I will join you shortly. As Kaler left, James turned to Ariala, his worry plain. We need to be more careful. If anyone finds out... Ariala placed a reassuring hand on his arm. I know, but we must trust that our love will find a way. Their meetings became more secretive, often under the cover of night or in hidden corners of the palace. They shared dreams and fears, their connection deepening with each stolen moment. One night, as they sat together in a secluded alcove, Ariala confided her greatest fear. James, I worry about what will happen if we are discovered. My people are proud and traditional. They may see our love as a betrayal. James took her hand, his gaze unwavering. We will face whatever comes together, Ariala. I promise you that. Their love gave them strength, but the constant secrecy took its toll. The strain of hiding their relationship weighed heavily on both of them, and the fear of discovery loomed ever larger. Despite the challenges, their bond only grew stronger. They found solace in each other, drawing strength from their shared determination to be together. As the summit approached, they knew that the risks were greater than ever, but they were resolved to face them head-on. The love between James and Ariala was a beacon of hope in a world filled with uncertainty and danger. Together, they believed they could overcome any obstacle as long as they had each other. The summit between Earth and Valtoria was meant to solidify the alliance and trade agreements, but it quickly became clear that not everyone supported the burgeoning relationship between the two worlds. During the opening ceremony, an explosion rocked the palace. Chaos erupted as security forces scrambled to protect the dignitaries. James and Ariala were separated in the confusion, each trying to ensure the safety of their people. James fought his way through the smoke and debris, his only thought to find Ariala. He found her surrounded by her guards, her face pale but resolute. Are you all right? He asked, his voice filled with concern. Ariala nodded. Yes, but we must find out who is behind this. Someone is trying to sabotage our alliance. As the dust settled, it became clear that the attack had been an attempt to drive a wedge between Earth and Valtoria. Suspicion and mistrust grew, and the atmosphere became increasingly tense. James and Ariala began investigating the source of the attack, using their combined resources and intelligence networks. They discovered that a faction within the Valtorian government, led by the ambitious and ruthless Lord Veyron, was opposed to any union with Earth. We need to find solid evidence against Veyron, James said, pacing in Ariala's chambers. Otherwise, he will continue to undermine our efforts. Ariala agreed. We must also strengthen our defenses. If Veyron is willing to resort to violence, we cannot underestimate him. Their investigation led them to the discovery of several hidden caches of weapons and explosives, all linked to Veyron's network. The evidence was damning, but they needed more to bring him to justice. Ariala and James knew they were running out of time. The summit's closing ceremony was fast approaching, and they needed to act before Veyron could strike again. We must expose him publicly, Ariala said, her eyes filled with determination. We need to show the world what he has done and ensure he cannot harm anyone else. James nodded, his resolve matching hers. We will. Together, we will bring him down. With their plan set, they prepared for the final confrontation. They knew the risks were high, but their love and commitment to each other gave them the strength to face whatever dangers lay ahead. As they moved forward, they were determined to protect their worlds and the fragile alliance they had fought so hard to build. As tensions escalated, James and Ariala devised a daring plan to expose Lord Veyron. They decided to lure him into a trap, using false information about a critical meeting between Earth and Valtoria. We need to make it convincing, Ariala said, her eyes reflecting her determination. If Veyron suspects anything, it could be disastrous. James nodded. I'll spread the information discreetly. We have to make sure he takes the bait. The plan required precise coordination and nerves of steel. James and Ariala knew that if they failed, it could mean the end of their alliance and their lives. They used their most trusted contacts to circulate the information, ensuring it would reach Veyron's ears. To ensure the plan's success, Ariala staged an elaborate ruse within the palace, appearing to be engrossed in the final preparations for the supposed meeting. James, meanwhile, made himself conspicuously scarce, adding to the sense of urgency and importance. On the night of the supposed meeting, the palace was on high alert. Security forces were positioned strategically, ready to act at a moment's notice. James and Ariala took their positions in a concealed observation room, monitoring the unfolding events. Their hearts pounded as they watched the surveillance feeds, waiting for Veyron to make his move. The tension was palpable, each second stretching into an eternity. Suddenly, they saw movement near the secured meeting room. Veyron, accompanied by a group of armed loyalists, approached with a determined look. He was clearly prepared to sabotage the meeting and eliminate anyone in his way. "He's here," James whispered, his voice tense. "It's time." As Veyron and his men attempted to breach the secured room, Ariala gave the signal. The palace guards, along with James and Ariala, sprang into action, surrounding the traitors and cutting off their escape routes. Veyron's eyes widened with realization as he saw the guards closing in. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his voice laced with anger and fear. Ariala stepped forward, her presence commanding. "Lord Veyron, your treachery has been exposed. We have evidence of your involvement in the attack and your attempts to undermine our alliance." Veyron sneered, trying to maintain his composure. "You have no proof. This is a baseless accusation." General Kaylor, who had been watching from the shadows, stepped forward and presented the gathered evidence. "We have all the proof we need. Your plots have been uncovered, and you will answer for your crimes." The council members and dignitaries, who had been secretly summoned to witness the confrontation, murmured among themselves, shocked by the revelations. Veyron, realizing he was cornered, made a desperate move. Drawing a concealed weapon, he lunged at Ariala. James reacted instinctively, throwing himself in front of her. A searing pain shot through him as the weapon struck, but he managed to wrestle Veyron to the ground, disarming him in the process. Guards quickly subdued Veyron, and medics rushed to James's side. Ariala knelt beside him, her eyes filled with worry. "James, are you all right?" James managed a weak smile despite the pain. "I'm fine, Ariala. Just a scratch." With Veyron arrested and his faction disbanded, the immediate threat to the alliance was neutralized. However, the cost had been high, and James's injuries were a stark reminder of the dangers they faced. As James recovered, Ariala remained by his side, their bond growing even stronger. The council, now fully aware of the depth of their relationship, was divided on how to proceed. Some members argued that their love was a symbol of unity and strength, while others saw it as a breach of tradition and a potential source of conflict. "We must stand by our beliefs," Ariala said firmly. "Our love is not a weakness. It is a testament to what we can achieve together." With the council's support wavering, James and Ariala knew they had to work even harder to prove the value of their alliance. They began reaching out to other factions and leaders, seeking to build a broader coalition that could withstand any opposition. Their love, once a closely guarded secret, became a symbol of hope and resilience for many. As they faced the challenges ahead, they drew strength from each other, determined to protect their worlds and the future they were building together. As the political landscape shifted, James and Ariala sought to strengthen their alliance by forging new partnerships. They reached out to other planets and factions, seeking allies who shared their vision of unity and cooperation. One such ally was Princess Leora of the neighboring planet Draconis. Leora, known for her diplomatic skills and progressive views, was eager to support their cause. She arrived on Valtoria with a contingent of advisors and guards, ready to discuss the terms of their alliance. "Your love story is an inspiration," Leora said during a diplomatic visit. "It shows that we can overcome our differences and work together for a better future." Ariala smiled, grateful for Leora's support. "Thank you, Princess Leora. Your friendship and support mean a great deal to us." With Leora's endorsement, the alliance gained momentum, and more worlds began to see the benefits of cooperation. However, not everyone was convinced, and pockets of resistance remained. James and Ariala continued to face opposition from those who saw their relationship as a threat to tradition and stability. In a bid to solidify their growing coalition, James and Ariala organized a grand summit on Valtoria, inviting representatives from various allied planets. The summit aimed to showcase the benefits of unity and to address the concerns of the skeptics. During the summit, James and Ariala gave a joint address, highlighting their achievements and the potential for a brighter future through collaboration. "We stand here today as proof that love and cooperation can bridge any divide," James said, his voice resonating through the grand hall. "Together, we can overcome any challenge and build a future where all our worlds thrive." Ariala continued, "Our alliance is built on trust, respect, and the shared belief that we are stronger together. Let us move forward as one, united in our commitment to peace and prosperity." The response to their address was overwhelmingly positive, and many of the attending delegates expressed their support for the alliance. However, not all were swayed, and James and Ariala knew that they still had much work to do to secure lasting peace. Despite their growing support, James and Ariala faced new challenges as their enemies resorted to more insidious tactics. Acts of sabotage and betrayal threatened to undermine their efforts. One evening, as they reviewed security reports, they discovered evidence of a mole within their inner circle. Someone had been leaking sensitive information to their enemies, putting their plans and lives at risk. "We need to find out who it is," James said, his expression grim. "This could jeopardize everything we've worked for." Ariala agreed. "We'll conduct a thorough investigation. We cannot let this continue." Their investigation led them to a shocking revelation. General Kaylor, who had once been their ally, was the mole. He had been coerced by remnants of Veyron's faction, who threatened his family. Confronting Kaylor was one of the hardest things Ariala had to do. "Kaylor, why didn't you come to us for help?" she asked, her voice filled with a mix of hurt and betrayal. Kaylor bowed his head in shame. "I thought I could handle it on my own. I didn't want to burden you." Despite the betrayal, Ariala showed compassion. "We will help you, Kaylor, but you must tell us everything you know." Kaylor revealed the extent of the plot against them. Veyron's loyalists had been planning a major attack to destabilize the alliance, targeting a high-profile event where many of their new allies would be present. "We need to act quickly," James said, formulating a plan. "We'll use this opportunity to draw them out and capture them." Ariala nodded. "I will proceed with the event as planned. We need to show them that we are not afraid." The night of the event arrived, and security was tighter than ever. As dignitaries and allies gathered, James and Ariala maintained a vigilant watch, knowing that their enemies could strike at any moment. The traitors made their move during the evening's festivities. Disguised as guests, they attempted to carry out their plan, but James and Ariala were ready. The palace guards, along with their trusted allies, quickly intervened, thwarting the attack and apprehending the conspirators. Amid the chaos, Kaylor played a crucial role in identifying and neutralizing the threats, redeeming himself in the eyes of Ariala and James. With the immediate danger averted, the event continued, albeit under heightened security. James and Ariala took the opportunity to address their allies, reaffirming their commitment to the alliance and to each other. "We will not be swayed by fear or violence," Ariala declared. "Our love and our alliance are stronger than any threat we face." James added, "We stand united, and we will continue to work together for a future of peace and prosperity for all our worlds." Their words resonated with the attendees, strengthening the resolve of their allies and reinforcing the foundation of their growing coalition. As the night drew to a close, James and Ariala knew that their fight for unity was far from over, but they were more determined than ever to see it through. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, guided by their love and their vision for a better future. With the immediate threat from Veyron's loyalists neutralized, James and Ariala turned their focus back to strengthening their alliance. However, just as they began to feel a sense of stability, a new and formidable threat emerged. A powerful warlord named Zarek, known for his brutal conquests and lack of regard for diplomacy, had set his sights on Valtoria. Zarek saw the growing alliance as a threat to his dominion and sought to crush it before it could gain more strength. One evening, during a strategy meeting with their closest advisors, an urgent transmission came through. The holographic image of Princess Leora flickered to life, her expression grave. "James, Ariala, I bring dire news. Our scouts have reported a large fleet moving towards Valtoria. It belongs to Zarek." Ariala's eyes narrowed with determination. "We must prepare for war. Zarek will not destroy what we have built." James nodded, his mind already working through the logistics. "We need to mobilize our forces and call on our allies for support. We can't face Zarek alone." The call to arms went out, and within days, Allied forces from across the galaxy began to arrive on Valtoria. The atmosphere was tense but resolute. Everyone knew the stakes. The very future of their alliance depended on their ability to repel Zarek's invasion. The skies above Valtoria filled with the ominous sight of Zarek's fleet. The tension was palpable as the Allied forces prepared to defend their home. Soldiers and pilots readied their weapons, and defensive systems were brought online. James and Ariala stood side by side on the command bridge of their flagship, issuing orders and coordinating the defense. "This is it," James said, his voice steady. "We must stand strong." The battle commenced with a deafening roar as the first wave of Zarek's ships engaged the Valtorian defenses. Explosions lit up the sky, and the roar of engines and weapons filled the air. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Allied forces fought with determination and bravery. James piloted his fighter, leading a squadron against Zarek's flagship. The stakes were high and the outcome uncertain. "We can't let him break through our lines," he radioed to his team. Ariala coordinated the ground defenses, rallying her people to protect their world. She moved among the soldiers, her presence inspiring courage and determination. "We fight for our future," she called out, "for our loved ones and for peace." The battle was fierce and relentless. Zarek's forces pushed hard, but the Allies held their ground. As the fight dragged on, it seemed that Zarek's fleet might overwhelm them. But James and Ariala refused to give up. In a daring maneuver, James and his squadron managed to breach Zarek's flagship's defenses. They targeted its main power core, delivering a decisive blow that crippled the ship. On the ground, Ariala's forces held the line, repelling wave after wave of invaders. With James's success in the air, the tide of the battle began to turn. Zarek, realizing his defeat, attempted to flee. But James intercepted him, forcing his ship to crash land on Valtoria. The warlord emerged from the wreckage, defiant to the end. As James and his team approached, Zarek sneered. "You think you've won? This is only the beginning." James raised his weapon, but Ariala stepped forward. "No, Zarek, this is the end. Your reign of terror is over." Zarek was captured and brought before the council. His defeat marked a turning point for the alliance, solidifying its strength and unity. With the threat of Zarek neutralized, the alliance entered a new era of peace and cooperation. James and Ariala continued to lead with wisdom and compassion, their love serving as a beacon of hope for all. As they looked out over the bustling city of Valtoria, they knew their journey was far from over, but together they were ready to face whatever the future held, confident in their ability to build a better world for all. The battle for Valtoria had ended in a decisive victory for the Alliance, but the scars of war were visible throughout the planet. Rebuilding efforts began immediately, with Allied forces working together to restore what had been damaged and to care for the wounded. James and Ariala played pivotal roles in the recovery process. They coordinated aid, oversaw reconstruction projects, and ensured that those affected by the conflict received the help they needed. Their dedication and leadership inspired hope and unity among the people. One evening, as they reviewed the progress of the rebuilding efforts, Princess Leora approached them with a proposal. "We must take this opportunity to strengthen our alliance even further. I propose we establish a permanent council representing all allied worlds to ensure continued cooperation and peace." James and Ariala exchanged thoughtful glances. "It's a brilliant idea," James said. A council could help us address any future threats and foster collaboration on a scale we've never seen before. Ariala nodded in agreement. We will need to gather the leaders of our allied worlds and discuss the formation of this council. It will be a symbol of our commitment to unity and peace. Invitations were sent out, and soon leaders from across the galaxy gathered on Valtoria. The atmosphere was one of excitement and determination as they discussed the structure and purpose of the new Galactic Council. The council was to be an inclusive body, with representatives from each allied world, tasked with maintaining peace, promoting mutual understanding, and addressing any challenges that arose. James and Ariala were elected as the first co-chairs, a testament to their leadership and the respect they had earned. During the inaugural meeting of the council, James addressed the assembled leaders. We stand here today united by a common vision, a vision of a galaxy where cooperation and understanding prevail over conflict and division. Together we can achieve great things. Ariala continued, Our journey has not been easy, and there will be challenges ahead, but we have shown that when we work together, we are capable of overcoming any obstacle. This council will be a beacon of hope and a guardian of peace. The formation of the Galactic Council was met with widespread approval. It marked the beginning of a new era, one defined by collaboration and shared goals. The Council quickly got to work, addressing urgent matters such as economic development, scientific research, and security. Despite their busy schedules, James and Ariala found moments to reflect on their journey. One evening, as they walked through the peaceful gardens of the palace, James turned to Ariala. We've come so far, Ariala. From secret meetings in the shadows to leading a galactic council. It's incredible. Ariala smiled, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the garden lights. It is, and I couldn't have done it without you, James. Our love has been our strength and our guide. Their bond, forged through trials and triumphs, had only grown stronger. They knew that their love and their vision for a united galaxy would continue to guide them as they faced whatever the future held. The Council's early successes included the establishment of trade agreements that benefited all member worlds, the initiation of joint scientific endeavors, and the creation of a unified defense force to protect against external threats. These achievements bolstered the alliance and demonstrated the power of unity. As they continued their work, James and Ariala remained vigilant, aware that peace required constant effort and commitment. They were dedicated to ensuring that the Galactic Council would endure, providing a lasting legacy of cooperation and harmony. One evening, after a particularly productive council session, James and Ariala stood on the balcony of the palace, looking out at the vibrant city below. The lights of Valtoria twinkled like stars, a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. We've built something truly remarkable, James said, his voice filled with pride. Ariala nodded, her hand resting on his. And we will continue to build. Together we can face any challenge and create a future of peace and prosperity for all. Their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next, confident in their ability to lead and inspire. With the Galactic Council as a symbol of their vision, they looked forward to a future filled with hope and endless possibilities. The Galactic Council's early successes were promising, but maintaining unity among diverse worlds proved challenging. Cultural differences, historical grievances, and competing interests began to strain the alliance. James and Ariala faced mounting pressure to mediate disputes and ensure that the Council remained a force for peace. One such conflict arose between two key member worlds, Terion and Zilara. Terion, a technologically advanced but resource-poor planet, accused Zilara of unfair trade practices and hoarding essential supplies. Zilara, rich in natural resources but technologically lagging, countered that Terion was exploiting their dependence on technology. James and Ariala called an emergency session of the Council to address the dispute. The atmosphere was tense as representatives from both planets presented their cases. We have always been willing to trade fairly, argued Minister Kale of Terion, but Zilara's recent actions have left us with no choice but to take a stand. Ambassador Thara of Zilara shot back, It is Tarion who has taken advantage of our need for technology, charging exorbitant prices and leaving us vulnerable. James raised his hand to silence the room. We must find a solution that benefits both parties. This council was formed to foster cooperation, not deepen divides. Ariala stepped forward, her voice calm and authoritative. We propose a mutual assistance pact. Tarion will share its technological advancements with Zalara, and in return, Zalara will provide essential resources at fair prices. This partnership can strengthen both worlds and set an example for the entire council. The room fell silent as the representatives considered the proposal. After a moment, Minister Kale and Ambassador Thara exchanged glances and nodded. We accept, Kale said, his tone conciliatory, for the sake of our worlds and the Alliance. Thara agreed. Let this be the start of a new chapter of cooperation. The Mutual Assistance Pact was formalized, and the tension between Tarion and Zalara eased. The successful resolution of the conflict reinforced the Council's purpose and demonstrated the power of negotiation and compromise. Despite the progress made by the Galactic Council, shadows from the past continued to loom. Remnants of Veyron's faction, embittered by their defeat, began to stir trouble. Small but disruptive acts of sabotage and misinformation campaigns aimed to weaken the Alliance from within. James and Ariala knew they had to address this growing threat. They enlisted the help of their most trusted allies, including Princess Leora, to root out the saboteurs and restore stability. During a council session, Leora presented her findings. Our intelligence indicates that a group known as the Valtorian Liberation Front is behind these attacks. They seek to destabilize our alliance and restore the old order. Ariala clenched her fists. We cannot let them succeed. They threaten everything we have worked for. James nodded. We need to act decisively. We'll increase security measures and launch a coordinated effort to dismantle their network. The following weeks were a blur of strategic planning and covert operations. James and Ariala worked closely with their allies, coordinating raids and gathering intelligence. The efforts paid off as they uncovered key members of the Valtorian Liberation Front and disrupted their operations. One evening, as they reviewed the latest intelligence reports, a coded message arrived from an unexpected source, General Kaylor. Since his betrayal and subsequent redemption, Kaylor had worked tirelessly to atone for his actions and had become a valuable asset in their fight against internal threats. James, Ariala, Kaylor's message began. I have infiltrated the highest ranks of the Liberation Front. They plan a major attack on the Council's headquarters. We must act quickly to prevent it. Ariala's eyes widened. We need to call an emergency meeting of the Council and prepare our defenses. James agreed. Kaylor has given us the advantage. We can't waste it. The Council convened in secret, and security measures were heightened. The allies worked together to fortify the headquarters and prepare for the impending attack. James and Ariala coordinated the efforts, ensuring that every contingency was covered. The day of the planned attack arrived, and the atmosphere was electric with tension. As expected, the saboteurs struck, but the Council forces were ready. A fierce battle erupted, but the Allied defenders, bolstered by the element of surprise, managed to repel the attackers. Kaylor played a crucial role in the victory, providing real-time intelligence and leading the counteroffensive. The attackers were captured or driven off, and the threat was neutralized. After the battle, James and Ariala stood before the Council, addressing their allies. Today's victory is a testament to our unity and resolve, James said. We have shown that we will not be divided by fear or hatred. Ariala continued. Our alliance is stronger than ever. We have faced great challenges and emerged victorious. Let this be a reminder that together we can overcome any obstacle. The Council members cheered, their spirits lifted by the successful defense. The alliance had weathered another storm, and its foundations were stronger for it. As they walked through the palace gardens that evening, James and Ariala reflected on their journey. We've faced so much together, James said, taking Ariala's hand, and we've always come through stronger. Ariala smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. Our love and our vision for a united galaxy have guided us, and they will continue to do so. Their bond, forged through adversity and triumph, remained unbreakable. As they looked out at the stars, they knew that their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever came next, confident in their love and their vision for a peaceful future. With the threat from the Valtorian Liberation Front neutralized, the Galactic Council entered a period of relative peace and prosperity. The alliance continued to grow stronger, and new initiatives were launched to ensure long-term stability and development. James and Ariella led the efforts to expand the Council's reach and influence. They proposed a series of programs aimed at fostering cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and economic development among member worlds. Their vision was to create a galaxy where cooperation and mutual respect were the norm, rather than the exception. One of the most ambitious projects was the establishment of the Galactic Academy, an institution dedicated to education and research. The Academy would bring together the brightest minds from across the galaxy to share knowledge and develop innovative solutions to common challenges. During a council meeting, Princess Leora expressed her support for the initiative. The Galactic Academy will be a beacon of knowledge and progress. It will help us build a brighter future for all our worlds. James and Ariella worked tirelessly to bring the Academy to life. They oversaw the construction of the Academy's main campus on Valtoria and collaborated with representatives from member worlds to develop the curriculum and recruit faculty. As the Academy took shape, excitement and anticipation grew. The grand opening was scheduled to coincide with the annual Galactic Council Summit, a fitting celebration of their collective achievements and shared vision. On the day of the grand opening, leaders and citizens from across the galaxy gathered on Valtoria. The Academy's campus was a stunning blend of architecture and nature, reflecting the harmony they sought to achieve. Ariella stood before the assembled crowd, her voice filled with pride and hope. Today, we celebrate the opening of the Galactic Academy, a testament to our commitment to education, innovation, and cooperation. Let this institution be a symbol of our unity and a catalyst for progress. James continued, "The Academy is not just a place of learning, but a place of inspiration. Here, we will work together to solve the challenges of our time and build a future where all can thrive." The crowd erupted in applause, and the atmosphere was filled with optimism and excitement. The Galactic Academy quickly became a hub of activity, attracting students and researchers from all corners of the galaxy. As the years passed, the Galactic Council and the Academy flourished. The alliance continued to expand, and the bonds between member worlds grew stronger. James and Ariella's leadership and vision had transformed the galaxy, creating a legacy of peace and cooperation. One evening, as they walked through the now familiar gardens of the palace, James and Ariella reflected on their journey. "We've accomplished so much," James said, his voice filled with pride, "but it's the relationships we've built that mean the most to me." Ariella nodded, her eyes shining with emotion. "Our love and our dedication to this alliance have brought us here, and I know that our work will continue to inspire future generations." Their bond, forged through countless trials and triumphs, remained unbreakable. They knew that their love and their vision had created a foundation for a lasting legacy. As they stood together, looking out at the stars, James took Ariella's hand. "No matter what the future holds, I know that we will face it together. Our love has guided us through the darkest times and will continue to light our way." Ariella smiled, her heart full of gratitude and hope. "Together we can achieve anything. The future is bright, and I am grateful to share it with you." Their journey had been long and challenging, but they had emerged stronger and more united than ever. The galaxy they had helped shape was a testament to their love, their vision, and their unwavering commitment to peace and cooperation. As they looked out at the vast expanse of the galaxy, they knew that their work was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in their ability to lead and inspire. Together, they would continue to build a brighter future for all, guided by their love and their shared vision. The stars above shone brightly, a symbol of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. James and Ariella united in love and purpose, were ready to embrace the future and the adventures that awaited them. The Galactic Academy quickly became the center of innovation and progress, fostering a new generation of leaders and thinkers dedicated to the ideals of unity and cooperation. Students and researchers from all over the galaxy brought their diverse perspectives and expertise, sparking groundbreaking discoveries and forging lasting friendships. James and Ariella, though busy with their duties as co-chairs of the Galactic Council, made it a point to engage with the Academy regularly. They delivered guest lectures, participated in forums, and mentored promising young leaders. One day, during a visit to the Academy, James and Ariella were approached by a group of students with an ambitious proposal. "Your Excellencies," began Liara, a brilliant young scientist from Draconis, "we have been working on a project that could revolutionize interstellar travel. We've developed a prototype for a new hyperdrive technology that could reduce travel time between planets by over 90%. James raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "That's an impressive claim, Liara. How does it work?" Liara explained. "Our hyperdrive uses a new form of energy derived from quantum entanglement, allowing ships to create stable wormholes for nearly instantaneous travel. We believe this technology could bring our worlds even closer together and enhance trade, exploration, and cooperation." Ariella smiled, clearly impressed. "If successful, this could be a game-changer for the galaxy." "What do you need from us to move forward?" Liara hesitated before answering. "We need resources to scale up our prototype and conduct a series of tests. We were hoping the Council could provide funding and support for this endeavor." James and Ariella exchanged a look. They knew the potential benefits of such technology were immense, but they also understood the risks involved. "We will present your proposal to the Council," James said, "but know that we support your vision and will do everything we can to help you succeed." The Council approved the funding for the hyperdrive project, and work began in earnest. Liara and her team, with the support of the Galactic Academy and the Council, made rapid progress. The promise of new technology brought a renewed sense of excitement and possibility to the galaxy. As the first large-scale test of the hyperdrive approached, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Leaders from across the galaxy gathered to witness the demonstration, hopeful that this innovation would mark a new era of connectivity and cooperation. On the day of the test, James and Ariella stood with Liara and her team at the spaceport. The prototype ship, sleek and brimming with advanced technology, was ready for its maiden voyage. "Everything is in place," Liara reported. "We're ready to initiate the test." James and Ariella watched intently as the ship's engines powered up. A low hum filled the air, and a shimmering portal began to form in front of the vessel. The ship moved forward, disappearing into the wormhole in a flash of light. For a moment, there was silence. Then a message crackled through the communication system. "This is Captain Reelan. The test was a success. We've arrived at our destination and are preparing to return." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and James and Ariella shared a relieved smile. The hyperdrive technology had worked, and the implications for the galaxy were profound. As celebrations continued, James and Ariella were approached by a group of council members. One of them, Senator Thalos from Terion, spoke with urgency. "While we celebrate this incredible achievement, we must remain vigilant. Reports are coming in about increased pirate activity along the trade routes. They see this new technology as an opportunity to exploit." Ariella nodded, her expression turning serious. "We cannot allow piracy to undermine our progress. We need to strengthen our defenses and ensure that the benefits of this technology are protected." James agreed. "We'll convene a Security Council immediately and develop a comprehensive strategy to address this threat." The following weeks were a blur of activity as the Council implemented new security measures and coordinated with allied forces to patrol and protect the trade routes. James and Ariella led the efforts, balancing the excitement of technological advancement with the sobering reality of new challenges. During a late-night strategy session, James looked at Ariella, his eyes reflecting a mixture of determination and fatigue. "We've come so far, Ariella, but it seems like every step forward brings new obstacles." Ariella reached out and took his hand. That's the nature of progress, James. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient, and as long as we face them together, I know we can overcome anything. Their bond, strengthened by years of shared struggles and triumphs, was a source of unwavering support. They knew that the path ahead would not be easy, but they were committed to their vision of a united and prosperous galaxy. As they continued their work, they drew strength from each other and from the knowledge that their efforts were paving the way for a brighter future. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in their ability to lead and inspire. With the stars shining brightly above, James and Ariella looked to the horizon, ready to embrace the new horizons and adventures that awaited them. Their journey was far from over, but they were prepared to meet every challenge with courage and hope, guided by their love and their shared vision for the galaxy.